Hey everyone, I'm Jessie Ehrenberg and I'm a Child Protective Investigator, or CPI for short. Ask me anything. Thanks for easing me into this. A Child Protective Investigator is someone who investigates claims of child abuse and neglect. We have the often difficult task of figuring out what happened and predicting what will happen in the future. We receive and investigate reports of abuse and neglect 24 hours a day, every single day of the year. And hey, thanks for having me. I sure do. My purpose statement is, I, Jessie Ehrenberg, love to use empathy to help and heal people, especially children, so they can feel heard, whole, and healthy. It took the help of a great teacher and mentor, Miss Amy Love, and a visit to a career advisor at Valencia College, Miss Celeste Henry, to figure it out. All the soul searching I had done wasn't enough on its own. Well, as described in my purpose statement, empathy is an integral part of what I want to do. Empathy also happens to be my greatest strength. I value helping others and strive to do that with everything I do. My interests mostly revolve around making others comfortable, safe, and/or happy. As a social worker, my purpose statement is my driving force. I want to make a difference in the lives of others, especially those who are often voiceless or overlooked. Through some of the assessments I took for my new student experience class, like the ones in the My Career Planner section of LifeMap, I realized that I would fit best helping children, whether in a classroom or with their struggles in life in general. Well, during my final semesters at UCF, I had to complete numerous internships, or field education is what they call it, and I realized that while I was making somewhat of a difference in the lives of those who needed help, it just wasn't enough. I knew I wanted to help children, but I didn't know where I could help the most, So after graduating, I admittedly took the first social work job that I could find, which was a position at DCF doing community outreach. While out in the field, I saw that there were people slipping through the cracks. Things were happening right in front of our faces, and I personally couldn't do anything about it but report it. That's when I decided I had to look for work in child protective services. So when I learned of a job, I went and I obtained my child welfare certification from the Florida Certification Board. After being hired, I was given 3 months of field and classroom training to prepare me for some of the hardest yet rewarding work I would ever do. You guys are full of good questions tonight. It's almost as if this is a big assignment for school or something. But anyway, as a child protective investigator, I work in partnership with local law enforcement, the courts, schools, and other child advocacy groups to ensure the safety and well-being of children. Occasionally, and under extremely unfortunate circumstances, we do have to work with the medical examiner as well. But some of my duties include determining if there are any dangers or threats in a child's home, removing children from the home, but also I conduct, supervise, and administer programs for children and their families. My daily routine is ever-changing. This is definitely not a 9-to-5 job. There are days when I head straight to the office and all I do is paperwork. But then there are days that turn into night and then day again. Some days, I spend hours searching for temporary placement for a child. You just never know. Some of the skills one needs to possess to be a CPI are as follows. You need to be detail-oriented. You need to have good decision-making skills, and you must be able to thrive in a high-pressure, fast-paced environment. Empathy and compassion are extremely important skills to have when working with children in any situation, especially ones that can change their lives forever. One of our mottos is, when seconds count, your career decision may be the critical difference in the life of a child. It's funny that you asked that, because I didn't plan on talking to anyone about this field. I wanted to figure things out on my own, but I had a purpose co-curricular assignment that I had to do, and I honestly didn't know what I was going to do for it, and out of nowhere, it struck me. My sister-in-law, Ariel, was a social worker, so I interviewed her. Something that she didn't know at the time was that she provided that aha moment for me. The role of a child protective investigator came up when I asked her who needed to be present for the removal of a child from the home. I hadn't even thought about a title or what exactly I wanted to do until I spoke to her, and she explained what a CPI is, their duties, and the education needed to be one. She definitely didn't glamorize it, but she didn't try to discourage me either. And that was definitely a good thing for me. I got my AA in General Studies from Valencia College. Then, I went on to UCF and I majored in social work. I received my Bachelor's of Social Work, or BSW, in 2022. I also had to get a Florida Child Protective Investigator certification through the Florida Certification Board within a year of graduating. Majoring in social work made complete sense because CPIs are social workers. I was interested in and valued the safety and well-being of children, and I still am. My Strengths Quest strengths, which are empathy, positivity, developer, woo, and relator, are all strengths that I use in my day-to-day business. The cost of tuition from beginning to end would be approximately $19,000. About $6,000 of that was just for my tuition at Valencia, and then about another $13,000 was at UCF. I did apply for as many grants and scholarships as possible, but because I was a part-time student until I got accepted into the program, I wasn't really eligible for financial aid, short of taking loans, which I absolutely refused to do. I worked extremely hard to earn good grades so I would receive merit-based scholarships. At Valencia, I applied for foundation scholarships numerous times. It doesn't hurt to try. And although I only really received $500 from them, I learned how to apply for scholarships, and that was just as important. At UCF, I received the Dawn Brett Memorial Scholarship for $500 for my special interest in child welfare, and then I got the Judith G. Thames Endowed Scholarship for $1,000, and that was really because I maintained at least a 3.2 GPA. It took me longer to graduate than most people, but that was due to the fact that I was working to pay for college, and also my regular living expenses. So, I took a maximum of 3 classes per semester. I didn't really want to overwhelm myself and do poorly, and I won't say that I was never overwhelmed, but I was definitely able to handle my load. Believe it or not, my new student experience class is the reason I am here today, talking to you as a professional. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to be, let alone how to get there. That class showed me how to map everything out so I wouldn't have to figure it out on my own. The academic blueprint, career planner, and my education plan all helped me realize what I wanted and how to get it. My professor, Amy Love, who is still my really close friend to this day, by the way, became my mentor. She did social work before she started teaching, so she was able to offer advice for more than just academic things. And then my close friend, who actually happened to be an academic advisor at Valencia at the time, Miguel, he really helped me start my journey. Miguel pointed me in the right direction, not only at Valencia, but UCF as well. I took the slow and steady approach to college, and it really paid off. When I had questions, I asked anyone and everyone that I thought might have an answer. I started with peers and worked my way up until I was satisfied with my answer. There's no shame in asking when you don't know something. Ooh, it's 12:17 a.m. here in Orlando. I'm on call and I really need to get a little bit of sleep while I can. Thanks for your questions, guys.